Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Monday, September the 18th, 2017. My name is Doug McKay. I'm the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market, macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market. Then we take a look at our trade levels and our targets for the days, and then create our hypotheses. We do create multiple hypotheses in order to have a plan in place. We do not know what the market's going to do, but we can take a look at the possibilities based on simple option logic, and then execute the plan that best suits the market once the market shows us what it's trying to do. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking it out, send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. There's no website, there's no blog. This is not a commercial venture. We do everything live here in the go-to sessions in the pre-market, and then the live trading and analysis during the RTH trading session. Please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. Okay, taking a look at Friday. Last thing I said before I shut down on Friday was that it would not surprise me at all that we would go up and test into that 2500 during the extended trading session while nobody's looking. And basically that's what we did. We went to 2500 on the dot during that extended session that goes from 4:30 Friday Eastern Time to 5 p.m. Friday Eastern Time. But in terms of the day, we again had a pretty boxy looking profile. Our daily ATR is compressing. Our Hypo 1 was open auction, moving up and finding responsive sellers to rotate us down into testing that key line in the sand. But we had equal weight for Hypo 2, which was a rotation down, find responsive buyers, and then rotate up and break into that inverted head and shoulder target that we have on the 4 hour, and push up into the 2500s. I thought we were going to push up into the 2500s during the RTH session. They just could not get the momentum to do it until basically the algos took over after all the cash market was closed. We do have a double distribution with a very boxy upward profile. We're going to be watching this 93.75 area very closely. I'll show you why in just a couple minutes. But before we do that, let's take a look at news. We have a lot of news this week. This is a Fed week, so this is a Fed announcement on whether or not we raise rates this week. But in terms of news today, we've got NAHB housing market, and that's about it for the U.S. We do have tick long-term purchases, and we have Governor Council members speaking in Canada. But other than that, no scheduled news for today. Tomorrow, we've got U.S. building permits, current accounts, housing starts, import pricing. But Wednesday will be the day. Wednesday, we have existing homes, we have crude oil, and then 2 o'clock we have FOMC. And this is a FOMC that has a press conference, so Yellen will be speaking 30 minutes after the rate announcement. So this is going to get volatile coming into this week. I'm expecting expansion of some sort this week, and I'll show you why in just a couple minutes. On Thursday, we have unemployment claims and Philly Fed, and then we've got Draghi speaking at 9:30, and CB leading index and natural gas a little bit later on in the morning. And then Friday, we've got core retail sales and CPI month over month, with flash manufacturing, services. So fairly large, news week this week. So just I think we'll make a move, then lead up into it. Of course, the big news is we've made the move into the 2500. Let's just take a look at the macro to micro. I want to point something out here. You can see that we have been one-time framing up now for 10 months. We have not closed below prior month. Now we've dipped down and tested below prior months, but to me this is pretty strong one-time framing up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we're in our 11th month of just one time framing up. Got great slope and separation. We don't even challenge the trend on the monthly till we get into the low 2400s. Going to the weekly, we moved up and we just put in a new all-time high. We now have unadjusted all-time highs in the Globex at 2404.50 and in the RTH at 2498. So of course we're looking for that 2504.50 to get tested in the RTH at some point in time. But the trend is very strong to the upside. You can see same thing on the daily. We do have a technical gap that was basically closed out, and we've created a new one on the monthly. This is parabolic movement to the upside. Going to the intraday, you can see that we are starting to come back to fill this technical gap. That'll get closed at 2498.50, but the trend is still up on the 4-hour. As we move down into the smaller time frames, you can see that we're starting to get a rounded top, and we are coming and challenging the trend on the smaller time frames. And as we go down in time, you'll see that is accelerating. Got slope and separation to the downside on the 1 hour, on the 30-minute, on the 15-minute. You can see pretty strong move down. There is a naked cross down here at the 24.91.75, 92 area. That's going to be an important area for us. And on the 5-minute, you can see that that's accelerating to the downside as well. So longer time frame is up, but as we move to the smaller time frames, we're starting to see some counter rotation. But taking a look at the big picture, you can see that this is a very, very tight profile. Our whole range last week was 33.25. You see that this is a very, very decent looking Gaussian distribution over the last 4 days. It still has the gap intact. I want you to pay attention to 3 key numbers. 95.50. I'm using 95. I'll show you why. 91.25. That's our value area that we just broke out of. And of course, the 93.75 and 92 area. That's where we've got naked cross, and that is where we have accepted price for the breakout. Now we are going to be looking like we're probably going to gap up or just open just inside a range. So we don't know if this is going to be a gap and go yet, but there is a possibility. If we take a look at the overnight inventory, you can see there's the high that was put in the ETH, the extended session from Friday, and that 2500 was hit, and then of course we opened up and we've just been stair stepping up. Inventory is basically 100% net long. We did find some sellers here in around the 25.03.25, and they've rotated us back down, and we're likely to come down and close this gap before we make a next move to the upside. I'm looking for a pullback more along the 95 and 92 area, 93.75 to be exact. So in terms of putting our levels in, our overnight high is our all-time unadjusted high at 24.50. And I have to note that this is a Globex all-time high. Didn't like that one. And then our all-time high is the range high for yesterday in the RTH session. Our overnight low is 98.50, so we didn't quite get to the top of the range overnight, and that was basically on the open. Not going to get a VPOC shift. Our VPOC is 25.03 and a quarter. And of course, we've got the midpoint and the LVN at 25.0150. In fact, I'm going to move it up to 0175 because that is the value area low from overnight. Another P-shaped profile here. So those are the key levels. Obviously, we're going to be watching this double distribution. This is a very boxy looking profile. So if we get inside of the 98, I am targeting the 97 and a quarter, but I'm actually going to go down to this 96 and a quarter, and then the 95 to 93.75 is going to be a key level to hold if we're going to continue the rotation up and go and hit that inverted cup and handle primary target up at the 25.10. Below here, we've got the 92.50. That's where that naked cross is. It's not an opening swing low. It's a target. And then down here at the 90.50, what did we say the value areas was? We had 95.50, but I'm watching the 95 because it's a naked VPOC, and 91 and a quarter. 91 and a quarter. And then below that, we've got the 89. And then our key line in the sand is still going to be 87 with 85.50 as the target. This is no longer the overnight low. All right. So, and then to the upside, we've got the Globex all-time high. Our daily ATR is running at 1591. So off of the low overnight. Gives us a daily upside ATR target of 2514.50. So we have range extension to go and hit this this target here. And then we've got to the downside, so 2504.50 minus the 1591 takes us down to 2488.50. And that is just at the bottom of this. So I'm going to move. No, I'm going to leave that where it is. Okay. So those are the levels. So we're currently trading at 2,500. I mean, obviously 2,500 is going to be a key level today, but I'm not going to use it as such, and I'll tell you why. Is too many times we get to a very important centennial number, and all they do is chop it a couple points above and below. That's why I'm using the 25.0175. If we're above the 2501.75, we're likely to go and hit the overnight VPOC and equalize that all-time high. But we're likely to chop around this 25.50, and I don't want to get chopped up. So this, to me, between the 2501.75 and the 24.98 is going to be somewhat of a slush zone for me, where there's no real edge here. And you can say, oh, I'm going to lean against the centennial number, but watch them chop through it a bunch of times today. It's going to slice through, and if you try to enter a trade at 2,500, you're likely to get chopped up unless you can put in a stop of at least 2 to 3 points. So I'm just going to be careful and not bother trying to fight that current level. In terms of my hypotheses, I think that we have to dip down, but my hypo 1 and my hypo 2, because of trading where we are at the 2,500, have equal weight. So I don't know who's going to take control first. That's what I'm going to watch. But in terms of my main hypos, this is how they're going to go. I'm going to look for a pullback today. So I'm looking for an open auction out of range. I'm looking for a push up into the overnight VPOC, equalize that all-time high, find responsive buyers, and come down and close the gap. Chop around the 98 area and push through into the 95 and close somewhere between the 90 and the 95 area. That is my hypo 1. But equal weight will be an open auction out of range, a push down to close the gap, and somewhere between the close from Friday at 97 and a quarter and 95, or even the 93.75. I'm looking for buyers to step in, rotate us back up, and chop between the 25.05 and the 98 area and go sideways into the close and close somewhere just below 2,500. There's a good probability we could get a gap and go day today as well. So that is going to go hypo 3. So hypo 3 is an open test drive or an open drive, a failure to take out the range gap or the gap close, and then push up into the 25.10.50 and basically chop around between the 04.50 and the 14.50 and go sideways up here. And then hypo 4 is basically sideways consolidation between 95 and 25.05 and just basically fighting the 2,500 and going sideways. And then the alternative is a failure day and a move down into the 87. So open auction out of range, come back into range, chop around here, blow through this 93.50 area, push down into the 90, chop around between the 90 and the 87, and then fail and come down and close the gap down here at the 85 as a big take back day. Those are my main hypotheses. Gold has moved down even further. We got a $43 move in gold before they counter rotated it up 1870. Remember, we talked about between 38 and 43. We got 43. They rotated at $18.70, and now we've pushed down, and we're coming down into where we consolidated the last time down here at the 1340 area. Looking for this level to be challenged, push through down to the 0809 level, and then base and chop around in around this 13. You can see that the value area low down here is 1310. We've got an LVN at 0870. So I'm expecting gold to chop around this 1312 today. We got a bit of an island top going on here, and if these indices continue to hold up, we could see a bigger move in gold all the way back down into the 1200s and back down towards this 1293. Don't know that for sure yet. I'm looking for a bounce here, to show that the continuation up into the 13s are going to continue. But we went into 1362, so that's a strong move into the 1300. Anyway, that's going to complete our pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.